We'll call the Thursday, April 14th, 2022 City Commission meeting to order. All commissioners are present, minus Mayor, or Commissioner Jacobs.
The mayor's got.
Don't tell her I said that. First item on the order of business is the consideration of the approval of the March 24th minutes. Any questions, comments, or changes?
No.
Okay. Okay, if not, they will stand as presented. Citizen comments.
Good afternoon. My name is David Klingen. I am director with Grow Hayes, and I just wanted to give the commissioners a quick recap on what's been going on with our school bond committee, and just make sure I'm keeping you folks up to date. First off, I would like to thank the city commissioners again for their unanimous support in allowing the half-cent tax to go for the ballot for the school bond opportunity, plus your continuous support through the process investment for the future. I would like to recognize our wondrous mayor that is wearing a wonderful polo. Thank you, and nice groom too.
Thank you.
But the USDA 49 Board of Education continued support for the school bond has shown they understand its importance and the vision for the years to come. I do want to recognize Chrissy Crow, who has done a remarkable job keeping the USD 49 bond website current so that anyone can access the site and get real-time information. This includes the renderings, overhead view of the current high school and how the proposed new high school would look, bond scope, questions and answers, and many other facts. She is just a wonderful job for anyone that is curious or has a question. You're going to find 99.95% of your answers right there on that site, and I'm really proud of her for that. Plus, she has been doing postings on Tidbit Tuesdays, which helps focus on specific topics to further understand, what's going on with the bond, some of the main hot topics there. I also want to recognize Sarah Wassinger, who has done a wonderful job keeping the Facebook page up. It's called Count Me In for Hayes. This has been an excellent site to see all the supportive pictures posted, supporting the school bond, hearing positive stories, letting the committee know who would like yard signage, and let the committee see the excitement built around the school bond opportunity. There has been a tremendous support for the USD 49, from the USD 49 administration, from the faculty, from the students, members of the Count Me In for Hayes committee, and the community itself. It has been just wonderful with the phone calls, people coming in, how can we help? Hey, we have a meeting, go in there, is there something we can hand out? Can we give out pins? It has just been fabulous with the way this community has been going toward this bond. And we've had all sorts of things with speaking engagements, handing out pamphlets, pins, social media, selfies, placing yard signs, and much more. All of which reminds me just how awesome this community is. Currently, we have 18 of those 4x8 signs up around town, 12 of the 2x4 signing for the school bond. You may have seen us working on them 2 and 3 times in the last few weeks. We've learned a lot about post and the wind and zip ties. It has been an interesting battle, and we'd like to thank everyone that has called us and let us know that those signs have fallen down. We do have currently 250 yard signs up talking about voting yes for the school bond. We have another 100 that'll come out hopefully by tomorrow. And we have almost 70 names of addresses still to put those up. So we should have all 350 out by Monday as we continue to just advertise that. Last but not least, we have 11 days, counting today, we have 11 days till April 25th when early voting starts, and every vote counts. So we'd love just to keep promoting that. But just thank you again for all your support, helping with that half-cent tax. That's going to be a huge benefit in taking care of the school bond and getting it paid off early, I do believe.
Tomorrow's the last day to sign up to vote. Is that correct? Last day to sign up?
19th?
Or is it 19th? Okay, 19th.
I
Okay.
think it's Tuesday. And they've been talking, even at schools, in the government classes, they've just been reminding 18-year-olds in the student class, hey, you can now register to vote. This is your opportunity to do something, right off the bat at that celebration. And we've been hearing a lot of positive responses from those 18-year-olds. I mean, I have several texts from them. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, David. Appreciate the update.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have the consideration of the approval of the consent agenda, the cereal malt beverage liquor license application, and the mayoral appointment recommendations.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Musil, second by Commissioner Burgess to approve the consent agenda. Any questions or comments on those? Not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Now we have the 2022 Manhole Rehabilitation Program Award of Bid. Mr. Crispin.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jeff Crispin, Director of Water Resources. Tonight I'm presenting the 2022 Manhole Rehabilitation Program. This is our 5th consecutive year professionally rehabilitating sanitary sewer manholes, and we intend to bring that back to future commissions each year. This year, the project is to perform rehabilitation of manholes in the southwest corner of the city, and that is kind of that triangle down there, south of 8th Street. This is another visual of the actual manholes that we intend to have rehabilitated with this program. There are 50 that are located south of 6th Street and in between Elm and Milner Streets in the farther southwest corner of the town. In the last 4 years, we've actually completed 172 manholes in high priority areas. Those, when I say high priority, they may be a larger diameter sewer line that can cause other issues for manholes. It carries a lot more sanitary sewer, or it might be manholes that are located in waterways and they may get I&I from groundwater or from surface water. Our intention is to start to rehabilitate manholes in this area and then moving north in our system in future years. So the problem with what happens with manholes is they're degrading due to hydrogen sulfide, loose material, debris, oil, grease, loss of mortar and brick, manholes, concrete failure, physical damage, and you can see the concrete failure with that photo right there, infiltration and inflow, and then erosion of those manholes. Why are they important? They allow us to access the sanitary sewer system for cleaning and maintenance. Failure of a manhole can block a line and cause overflow of sanitary sewer. The city does not have equipment to deal with anything past. We typically try to stay around 10 to 12 feet and lower, or anything 10 to 12 feet or deeper may require us to hire somebody that has additional heavier equipment to reach those depths. And obviously, if we have a failure, people or vehicles can be harmed in the event of a collapse. This is a kind of a side picture of the concrete or brick structure and then the iron ring and lid. We don't have to replace the iron ring or lid very often, but it is part of the bid package. There is a price in case it has to be replaced. Contractor and city staff will work daily to determine the best course of action. So basically, they would identify which manholes would be rehabilitated that day. City staff would look at that with their project manager and make determinations whether or not we would have to replace a ring or a lid with the contractor. This is a photo of before rehabilitation. Concrete has degraded on the sides of the manhole and has fallen to the bottom, and you can somewhat see that it's starting to block flow. Concrete at the bottom can affect the flow of the sewer and cause backups further upstream, which is something we definitely don't want to have happen. This is a photo of what it looks like after. It's a removal of loose material that's fallen to the bottom. They reline the manhole from top to bottom with a 1-inch thick fiber reinforced cement material, and it's called MS2A. That's the product that's used, that we spec out to be used on all of our manholes. Restoration of a smooth surface for any missing brick or similar voids, stoppage of any leaks, and then in some instances we have to have an additional treatment that is applied to these manholes on top of the MS2A, and those are for those higher sulfur acidic situations that may cause problems. That additional treatment, typically we find around 25%, sometimes a little bit more of those situations they need to be applied. And that could be a polymer, an epoxy, or a product called Geocrete, which is going to be used hopefully in this situation. And that is a similar epoxy concrete product that can be used by a company that manufactures the Geocrete. The sewer would remain in service, so we wouldn't take anybody out of service. We would inspect it in-house with our city staff, and then a standard warranty would cover workmanship and materials for a period of 1 year. There are 2,400 manholes in the city of Hayes. If we complete about 50 per year, this would allow for a 50-year cycle of manholes being professionally rehabilitated. A 50-year cycle is somewhat recommended by industry standard, actually mentions between 40 and 60 years, so we picked 50 kind of as right in the center of that range. If we complete 50 this year, we will have completed 222 in 5 years total. So for the bids for this project, Mayor Specialty Services provided the low bid based on the unit rates outlined in the bid tabulation. And as you can see there, it's $99.50 per vertical foot for MS2A. Staff has verified that the bid price and material Mayor Specialty Services provided, they are competent and they are experienced in manhole rehabilitation. We've actually used them the past 3 years. They completed projects in 2020, and 2021, and their work has been excellent. And they typically have the same crew, and that's all they do all year long. And so this project manager's name's Austin. We've worked with him before, and it's been very good to work with. So the plan is to complete, and I showed this last week, of the 50 manholes, we measured 515 vertical feet that will need to actually be rehabilitated. You take that 50 and you add all the vertical feet together and we get 515. So of that 515 vertical feet, that's $99.50 a vertical foot for MS2A. That comes out to about $51,000 for that product alone. The strong geocrete, which they estimate or they give us at $125.50 a vertical foot, that is going to be applied on 260 of the 515 vertical feet. So an additional coating will happen on some additional footages, and that will help protect those manholes from further degradation. So adding all that up comes to about $83,558 just for the product and the installation itself. Typically, MS2A is used in about 75% of the time. It's the only thing that is necessary. But as I said, about 25% of the time we find that an additional treatment, additional coating is added to those manholes to make them last longer. Staff, again, will be requesting tonight for you to approve to spend up to the budget amount of $125,000. We did increase the budget in 2022 for our CIP up by $25,000 just because some unknowns in pricing and inflation with the pandemic. So that's why we increased the budget amount. Based on the budget request and bids, we could rehabilitate an additional 15 manholes in this project. So what we would do is we would just continue to work north in that southern area and add additional manholes. And those manholes we estimate to be somewhere around 80 years old. So when you talk about a 50-year cycle, it's time to get those things rehabilitated in good shape. The last thing on this bid tabulation, we see $1,500 to $3,000 per manhole. Rehab is typically what you find. And if we had to replace a full manhole, $15,000 to go in and actually replace a full one. So it's really good to keep rehabilitating the system. For financial consideration, we budgeted $125,000 in our repairs and maintenance line item in the water reclamation and reuse budget. And as I said, I would be requesting your authority to spend up to $125,000. These are the options for tonight. And then this would be the action I would request, and I would stand for any questions.
Okay, I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Mayor Specialty Services to complete the 2022 manhole rehabilitation program with the budget not to exceed $125,000 to be funded from the repairs and maintenance line item in the water reclamation and reuse budget.
Seconded.
Motion by Commissioner Musil, second by Commissioner Burgess. Any questions or comments for Jeff?
Jeff, can you go back to where the bids were?
Yes.
Just question on why two of them bid epoxy and only one bid strong geo. Is there?
They were all given the same bid documents. It was to provide an MS2A, and they could do epoxy, strong geocrete, or another polymer.
Mm-hmm.
And they all chose basically different items. In the future bid documents, we are going to require that they give us a price for MS2A. Mayor Specialty Services does quite a bit more manhole rehabilitation work than these other companies. And obviously there's a pretty good gap in Midland's price for MS2A. Really wasn't sure why that they priced it so high, but the price that Mayor Specialty gave us at $99.50 was comparable to previous years, but it was up just a little bit. But the other ones, you know, at $250, if Utility Solutions, and we just did epoxy on these manholes, $250 a vertical foot, it was going to eat up budget really quick.
Right.
And the past use on that strong geocrete has worked really well for us. And so we're very happy with that product.
That was, I guess, my question is why their preference over epoxy over strong geo? But
It's probably a preference based on what they use. And with our past history with using strong geocrete and the price,
been
it was
happy
very
with it.
competitive, and we can get more manholes completed.
I just have a question, comment that I think is interesting. These things are supposed to last for 50 years. And the ones that we've got have lasted 50 years. But when when you go in and rehabilitate them, it's only a 1-year warranty.
Yeah, it's
You would think they'd have like a 10-year warranty if they're really standing by their solution that's supposed to last 50 years.
right, absolutely. So yeah, that's what you typically see as a 1-year warranty because there are a lot of unknowns in a sewer system. But yeah, the ones that we've seen right now for the last 4 years, they look just as good as they did when they rehabbed each manhole. So I'm very happy with how they've looked and how they've performed.
Very good.
Jeff, when they go in and rehabilitate them, is it our crew or do they find that this one can't be rehabilitated and we have to replace the whole thing?
Our crew's along for that process. It would be our supervisor with the collection and distribution. He will go out in the mornings and he will look at each of them with them. And if there's any problems, he'll be called back to where, at the end of the day, we also look at we inspect the work that's been done. But we haven't run across one yet that couldn't be rehabilitated.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Nope. If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes 4-0. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Next up, the 2022 Water Production Soda Ash Feeder Award Bid.
Good evening again, Jeff Crispin, Director of Water Resources. We solicited bids for the 2022 soda ash feeder project to replace the current soda ash feeder at the water plant. The soda ash feeder is an important piece of equipment. That's the picture of the actual piece of equipment that we have right now. It injects sodium carbonate, commonly known as soda ash, into the water production process. Soda ash acts to control the alkalinity and the softening of water. We use both soda ash and lime. We use them in dry form, and they assist the water plant operator in reducing hardness in the water. You may recall that in 2021, Commission approved for the purchase of new lime feeding equipment. This purchase of the soda ash equipment will ensure that both the lime slaker and the soda ash feeding equipment are new and will last for many years to come. I will mention that the lime slaking equipment and the feeding equipment was a little bit more involved, a little bit bigger pieces of equipment, but this one's pretty small comparatively. The current soda ash feeder is 48 years old, and it's had multiple in-house repairs over the years. The equipment has reached the end of its useful life, and it does need to be replaced. The soda ash feeder runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, unless it's down, which we don't want it to be down for very often. And we estimate that the current model has about 421,000 hours of usage. The top of the machine, as you can see at the top there, receives soda ash from one of the 2 storage bins at the top of the water treatment plant. This is an example of what the proposed feeder would look like. This is actually the system that's on top of the lime slaking machine. That's the lime feeder, and it would be very similar to it. Stainless steel, almost exactly like the one on the lime slaking equipment. One bid was open on March 8th. Bids were released on the city's website. We sent them directly to 3 different vendors. Seidner Environmental Services of St. Louis, Missouri submitted the bid of $25,426. Last week, Commissioner Jacobs asked if I had any concerns with the receiving product, and I stated no, that they do have a warehouse in St. Louis, and they do have these on the shelf, and I did call this week to confirm that they do have units available. The equipment is a new model, similar to the current unit at the plant. Seidner Environmental Services is well below the budgeted number of $50,000. Again, on this same project, I budgeted it a little bit higher in for the 2022 budget, just because of some unknowns on pricing and how that would fall in. Installation would occur basically by city staff. We would handle the installation of this. And again, This is another piece of equipment that they only offer a 1-year warranty for this equipment. So anyway, just wanted to update you.
But you get 400 hours out of it?
What's that?
But you get 400 hours out of it?
Interestingly enough, that almost the same question was asked last year, if we expect this one to last 48 years.
Oh, yeah.
I stated I don't know if I'll still be here,
Yeah,
but anyway. For financial consideration, we put it on CIP with a budget amount of $50,000. We would fund it out of water capital. Total cost would be $26,426 for that piece of equipment. So these are your three options tonight, and this is the action that I would request, and I would stand for questions again.
I move to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Seidner Environmental Services in the amount of $26,426 for the purchase of a soda ash feeder to be funded from water capital.
Seconded.
Motion by Commissioner Barrick, second by Commissioner Burgess. Any other comments or questions?
I'm always, maybe it's not surprised, but happy that all of every time we go out to bid something, it comes in quite a bit less than what you budgeted. There's the knock on wood, but there's also, are you just doing that to make yourself look good?
No, I would rather be right, very close.
But,
I would.
no, very much appreciate your work.
Well,
Thank you.
And I think with all the COVID overruns or whatever, I think that's probably pretty smart the way you budgeted on that. But it is nice that it came under budget.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, Commissioners, City Manager Doherty will be bringing us a EAS update.
Toby Doherty, City Manager. I wanted to give the commissioners just a brief update on the Essential Air Service program at the Hayes Regional Airport. You may recall that last month, the current carrier, SkyWest Airlines, filed a notice with the Department of Transportation, a 90-day notice to terminate service in 29 communities, of which Hayes was included. Also in Kansas, you had Salina, Dodge City, and Liberal included in that group. The Department of Transportation issued a hold-in order for SkyWest immediately after the filing, and the hold-in order contained a request for proposals for the 29 communities. That was actually due on Monday, the 11th. And we received word on Friday of last week that the DOT was pushing the request for proposals due date back 30 days. So it'll be into May before that's actually due. We don't know. We can only speculate on the reason why they pushed it back, but the fact of the matter is they pushed it back, and so SkyWest is in place. So I brought you some statistics just in case you were curious, you wondered. The sheet you have in front of you has the 49 communities that are served by SkyWest as part of the Essential Air Service program. Now, SkyWest has hundreds of locations across the world they go to. I think they have over 500 jets. I mean, they do more than EAS, but these are the 49 Essential Air Service communities they serve. The communities in the orange color are the 29 that were in the notice, the 90-day notice to terminate. The ones in green are the ones that they have not filed a notice to terminate on. Really, the only distinguishing characteristic that we're being told is the 29 communities are all United communities, all associated with United Airlines, and the others are Delta or American. So I'm sure there's some meaning behind that. We don't know what it is. Part of the reason I want to show you this is it has some good information on here. It has the SkyWest enplanements in 2019 and 21. We left 20 out because it was just such a down year. So it gives you an idea of the potential for a community. Some communities have a 2019 that's blank. That means SkyWest did not serve them in 2019. Or if it's a really low number, they probably served them for a partial year. And then we've got the contract term and the years completed. So our contract started in August of last year. And so we're not even finished with the first year yet of a 3-year contract. So one of the reasons I wanted to show you this is there are a limited amount of carriers that participate in the Essential Air Service program. And there is a pilot shortage that's affecting all the regional carriers. And so to drop 29 markets onto the community, it's going to be hard for the existing carriers to try to pick those up. And some of them are going to try to come in and cherry pick some of the communities at the top that fly more passengers. So what we have been told by DOT is they will continue issuing hold-in orders to SkyWest as long as it takes to keep them here to find suitable service for us. So that's more than likely beyond the 90 days. We've been told by SkyWest they fully expect to be in a lot of communities after the first of the year. So for the flying public that may be looking at booking a flight from the Hayes Regional Airport, right now we are tagged with Salina. This is one way that SkyWest is, and other airlines are getting around the pilot shortage issue, is they are tagging communities and serving more than one community with one plane. So we are tagged with Salina. We have a flight that leaves in the morning. It stops in Salina, picks up passengers. You do not get off the plane. The plane stops, the door opens, passengers get on, and the plane takes off. It's a pretty quick stop. Then the plane goes to Chicago. There is a swing-through flight in the afternoon that comes from Chicago. It stops in Salina. It stops in Hayes and picks up passengers and drops off passengers, and then it goes on to Denver. And then there's an evening flight that comes back from Denver. It stops in Salina, and then it comes to Hayes and spends the night, where it takes off and goes to Chicago again in the morning. So right now we know that schedule is built into the system through June, and we assume that schedule to be in place until one of two things happens. Either Salina or Hayes gets a different carrier, or SkyWest builds in a different type of a tag schedule. So if you are looking to book a ticket, if there is a schedule that works for you, book it. United is, if something changes after your ticket is booked, United will modify it at no charge. So if the tag goes away and you now have to go to Denver on an early morning flight, United will make that happen. There's no charge for any of that. If there is a different carrier that comes in, if you book a ticket, say in October, and a different carrier comes in, United will either route you through another airport or give you a choice. So it's not like you are locked into something that you're going to lose money on. The one thing that was nice in the air travel world about COVID is it almost eliminated the change fees. You can almost change any ticket at will now without a change fee. And in fact, if you fly with United and if you get a schedule change, the very first thing you will see on your page when you log into that is, do you want to cancel this reservation? And they will give you that right off the bat if there's a schedule change. So they're actually getting pretty lenient compared to what airlines used to be when it come to changes. So book with confidence. We have a good carrier here. The carrier is going to be here for the foreseeable future. So keep booking through Hayes. And Jamie shared at our departmental staff meeting this morning that the airport director, that right now we're on pace to fly about 13,000 this year if we keep it up, which is a good year. So I would stand for any questions if you have any.
Commissioners.
I think a lot of the stuff you gave us is what people have been asking us. You know, I have people ask all the time, you know, I want to book, you know, something through June, you know, can I do it? And kind of what you just said, book it, and it may change, but as of right now, just, you know, book it, and there's not a whole lot else we can give them right now. So
We do have, you know, I understand a tag is not desirable for either us or Salina. The Salina people don't want to stop in Hayes any worse than we want to stop in Salina going east. But the nice thing about it is we are getting 14 flights a week now instead of the 12 that we are supposed to get for the Essential Air Service program. So in order to serve both communities effectively, it takes more flights. So now you have more options in and out on Hayes. The Chicago does provide a nice easterly option too. And we heard for a lot of years when we have 2 flights a day to Denver, why can't we go east? Well, you've got the morning flight going east, so you can get to the East Coast very early now.
Still a lot faster to get to Chicago by stopping in Salina quickly than flying to Denver to get to Chicago.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Commissioner inquiries and comments. Commissioner Barrett.
I'm just happy to hear the updates on the school bond, and I hope everybody should have some information by now. And if you don't get it, and join all of us in getting out to vote, April 25th or May 10th, either one, and definitely can count me in.
Yeah.
Commissioner Musil, sorry. You're good. You're good.
I just want to thank Mr. Klingon for giving us an update. If you watch social media at night, you see a lot of, misinformation, and it's nice to see. I know I don't know who else on the committee, but a lot of people are doing a really good job of giving facts and, being respectful to people that don't know. And, I have people that come to my business all the time and have questions, and a lot of them are real simple questions. And I think you guys are doing a good job of getting it out there. And, everybody has different questions, and I just, don't quit answering them, because I think there's a lot of people that really want this, just maybe a little bit on the fence. And I think sounds really good right now. I know there's a lot of people for different reasons still, not sure about it, but I think you guys are doing a great job. Keep up the good work. So thank you. And happy Easter.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Just wish everybody happy Easter.
Yeah, Toby, thanks for the update. I appreciate that. And it's nice to hear that there is still a positive going through this. I did book a flight today, and it was interesting, but it was really, really easy. Our staff is doing a great job at looking at all the potential for what's going on at the airport. David, I appreciate the update with the school bond. Like you guys have said, it's nice to have all that information out there. I mean, sometimes it's almost information overload, but I'd rather have more information than not enough. So
I agree.
I appreciate all the work that you guys and the committee and USD 409 is doing for that. It's wonderful. It's almost here. I can probably see all the stress coming off your guys' heads and stuff. So, yeah, if you haven't registered yet, again, register till April 19th. Early voting starts April 25th. Regular voting starts in your precinct location on May 10th. Please get out, get the information, and vote, regardless of how you want to do. Get the information and vote. But as for my personal opinion, you can count me in. Executive sessions, any? No. And with that, we will adjourn at 7:02.